Number 1. Everything in this video will show you things about Survivor that were not shown on the show. I'm going to try and stay focused on season 48, but it is hard not to talk about some other seasons, like the upcoming Survivor 50, as when Survivor 48 began, Jeff infamously went public on why he is so adamantly against casting Carolyn from Survivor 44 again on the show.
We find an incredible human, and then they're on an incredible season of Survivor, and the next thing you know, these other shows are going, hey, why don't you come do our show? And I'm like, yeah, of course you would. That's a great casting philosophy. Just wait for us. So I do get a little territorial, I'm not gonna lie. I really am working on it, that we're not in charge of anybody's destiny, and just because somebody goes and plays traitors doesn't mean they can't come back and play Survivor. And I'm being completely honest that it has bothered me. It doesn't bother me with Cerise. Cerise, Hall of Fame. Cerise can do whatever she wants. But if you looked at it from our point of view, we might have a returning player season in store, and we're like, well, now you're going to go do this show and that show, and it's not quite as special now to see you.
Number 2, Jeff has a weird bias, but he is open about it, I guess. I gotta ask though, how come Carolyn being on the Traitors affects her being cast on Survivor again, but not Cirie or Stephanie or even Boston Rob? Because yes, Boston Rob confirmed he was called and asked and he declined. It's so strange to me. Here's Jeff further explaining his casting bias when it comes to returnee seasons.
And it's no secret. Other shows wait for us to come out with a new season, and then they start calling the most popular players and say, hey, why don't you come play our game? I feel a little, you're our family. Like, what if we want you to come back and play? Could you just wait a couple of years and come back for a returning player season? And now, I'm happy to say, I'm excited for former players who get offers to do other shows, but it'll never be Survivor. Just remember that, never.
And also, I feel like you would never, going on like the Traitors or something, like would never stop someone, a Survivor alum, from being able to come back to Survivor, right?
Probably.
Probably it would?
No,
or probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But it depends.
Okay, so why was Jesse from Survivor 43 cut? That is one of my biggest questions that has no answer seemingly. Number 3, if you're an avid listener to the Once Upon an Island podcast, number 2 on the charts, number 1 in your hearts, then you may remember me mentioning this, but Shaheen was underage when he dated Sherry Papini, the lady who infamously staged her own kidnapping and got busted for it.
She's a compulsive liar. She would, not talk to you for 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden there'd be some fantastical story about what happened. She was faking a heart condition at one point, and eventually, not only me, but a bunch of people figured out that that was not true.
Today, the man who dated Papini when he was 15 says he is being wrongly identified as the guy who allegedly hid Sherry Papini. He wants to set the record straight.
I want to stop people thinking that I am the person that hid her or helped her or had any contact with her.
Do you want to tell me what videos I should make? Well, Patreon is the place to do that. It is free to sign up for. And yes, I do post all of my videos there early, up to 7 months in advance. Link in the description. You can cancel anytime, and there is a deep discount if you do sign up for 1 year. Thank you for your support. Number 4. Do you remember when Gabler broke the fire-making record at the Final Four in Survivor 43, and then Heidi broke it again in Survivor 44? Well, how come no one has ever broken it since? Were Gabler and Heidi just that good, or has Survivor changed something along the way and they didn't tell us? Well,
okay, this is controversial, first of all, because there was a period of time where we gave them more and more supplies at camp so they could practice. So when they walked in, they were ready to go. We stopped doing that. Now we don't give them the supplies to practice, so the times are getting longer again. It's not that the next era of players aren't doing it as well, it's just they didn't have the same setup.
Number 5, David is obsessed with milk so much that the show made a supercut of all the times he talked about milk and stuffed it into the secret scene, which, by the way, I'm going to include all the good secret scenes in this video.
Chocolate milk, honestly, is the best thing in the world. It is my favorite thing in the world, okay? And I could live off the stuff. That's all chocolate milk, all right? That's right there. Favorite thing of all time, Chocolate milk. Why chocolate? Have you tasted chocolate milk? Like, is there anything that tastes better than chocolate milk? Let me answer for you. The answer is no. Chocolate milk is the greatest tasting thing in the world, and it happens to be somewhat good for you. The perfect carb to protein ratio. Name one thing that's better than chocolate milk. They say, oh, what's your secret? Chocolate milk. No, seriously, what's your secret? Chocolate milk. Ah, what I want to give to have a glass of chocolate milk. Nothing tastes better than chocolate milk. I would do anything for a glass of chocolate milk. Whole milk. Do I look like a 2% kind of guy? It has to be whole milk. I drink so much chocolate milk. Some chocolate milk. Chocolate milk, honestly, is the best thing in the world. It is my favorite thing in the world. There's just something about milk that I crave. I just want a cold glass of milk.
Number 6. I miss the days when Survivor would tell us why the people, the players, would pick their name for the merged tribe. I personally found that knowing the name made me feel more connected with the players and helped me understand them better as people. This season decided to stuff that scene into a secret scene, and I think this was a mistake, a big mistake.
Now that I made the merge, there's only one thing left to do. Come up with the tribe names. And so milk is one of my favorite things in the world. And it just so happens that Joe also drinks about a gallon of milk a day. What's the Chinese word for milk?
Oh my god, 牛奶.
I actually like that.
Right?
That's a cool name.
牛奶.
So it's Niunai.
Niunai.
Niunai. That is a great name for a tribe. Niunai.
Milk.
Niunai.
My parents are gonna geek out.
It's a cool word though. It sounds like a tribe name.
Number 7, the On Fire podcast with Jeff, or as I like to call it, the Survivor Propaganda podcast, is all about making you feel good about Survivor. Of course, obviously, I mean, it's Jeff's job. He runs the show. Jeff will say things like every single person gets done working their day with a smile on their face and they high five their fellow workplace associates. I am not sure how this could be true of every day for 800 people, but Jeff claims it. Jeff claims that like everybody gets done working the day and they're like smiling and giving high fives. I'm like, oh, okay, Jeff. But in the biggest twist that no one has likely told you about, Paramount, who is over CBS, who's obviously over Survivor, quietly dropped their requirement for all casts to be 50% people of color. Why? Well, Jeff says on the podcast that Survivor is always reflecting the moment that Survivor is happening in. And so I take from that is that Paramount is now reflecting what the current US president thinks about the diversity initiative. Just a guess though. Nothing's confirmed, but what is confirmed is that Paramount did drop it and Survivor 50 is not following the rule of 50%. Number 8, speaking of Survivor 50, Mike White is back and infamously, he played a good game on David vs. Goliath, but fumbled it at the end to Nick. For years, people have suspected this fumble may have been on purpose, and well, Jeff might have given us the confirmation we were seeking.
A lot of people think he could have won. He made it to the end, and then there seemed to be a moment where he realized, I don't need to win. The money won't help me the way it will help somebody else.
Oh, wow.
I just needed to know if I could win.
Number 9, Kevin straight up dislocated his shoulder in episode 1, and despite the episode itself being 2 hours, Jeff claims there was just not enough time in the show to keep it in, which amazes me. Surely a pointless journey or beware advantage or something could have been trimmed down to keep this in the show. Well, here's Stephanie with what we did not see.
Kev has the like, ow, my arm in the mud, which is so funny. But he's fully dislocated his shoulder at this point. And he has to have his shoulder or his arm popped back into his socket by medical. I was looking at him during the challenge being like, do you want me to stop the challenge? Like, do you want me to get them to stop? He's like, I think he's basically fully blacked out at this point. Like he doesn't remember a big chunk of that. They pop his arm back in and then they ask us, who do you want to send on the challenge? And I'm standing there and we send Kev. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's mean. That's like legitimately mean.
Number 10, the reality of why Kevin's injury was cut is plainly obvious. It's because he was the second boot of the show and his overall story was not that important. So let's hear from Kevin about something else we did not see in regards to it.
The doctor was like, you need to have a sling. And I was like, okay, can I have a sling? And they were like, sorry, you should make it out of your own jacket. And I was like, wait, I can either sleep somewhat warm or like cold or make us, and they're like, yeah, that's what it is. So late at night, like, I don't even know what time, I just whispered to Stephanie, like, Stephanie, can you help me make a sling? And she made a sling. So it was really sweet. And She's mother in every aspect.
Number 11, during Survivor 48, we were allowed to vote on so many aspects in regards to Survivor 50, and I would argue Jeff and the show were too scared to get our real opinions on many things, which is why after the first week of voting, when it came to like the second, third, and fourth round of voting, the options got more vague and seemed to give us less power, if that makes sense. The most egregious example is when it came to picking how many advantages we wanted for Survivor 50, and just take a look at these. These are all so super vague.
People say, oh, you should do a season without advantages or twists, and we're voting on it right now. I'm telling you, you want a season with maximum advantages, maximum twists, because that's when the players can get creative and do something. We'll do whatever the fans say. I'm just saying, I talk about this show all the time, and the fans love those kinds of moments.
Number 12, why isn't Parvati on Survivor 50? Well, no winners were cast on the show, as we saw with the cast reveal, despite the fact that Boston Rob was offered to have been on the show. Maybe him turning it down is why there are no winners at all. Good for him. But apparently Parvati has been asked by so many other shows to be on their games, and here are the ones she declined.
You reveal a reality show that you turned down. I turned down House of Villains. I turned down Celebrity Big Brother. I turned down The GOAT. Oh. There's like a bunch.
And any you wish you did or would do? No?
No.
Number 13. Have you ever wondered how Big Brother compares to Survivor? Like, sure, on paper it's Survivor in a house, but in reality, it's not at all. I mean, let's hear this from the perspective of someone who has played on both shows. When Sari is on Parvati's podcast, she says,
but with Big Brother, I felt like they said, let's put these people in this house and see what we can make them do. And that is the difference. Big Brother does things to make you respond in a way. And Survivor, like, they don't care if it's your game, right? If you want to sleep in the shelter 24/7 for however long the show is now, 21 days, or when we played 39 days, and you don't want to make friends and you don't want to do anything, they would leave you there to die. They don't care. It's your game that you're wasting. But Big Brother, they force you to participate.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Would you do Big Brother again?
No.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Would you do it?
Unequivocally.
No, hell no.
Unequivocally, they know. Absolutely not.
You heard it straight from Sari herself. Survivor is infinitely better than Big Brother. Number 14. I miss the live reunions, and I know we will likely get them back for Survivor 50 and get to see the reactions of everyone when they see who won live. But something cool and intimate we won't get when that happens is a video like what I'm about to show you, where Kyle recorded himself telling his wife that he won 48.
Oh, do you want me to just tell you? What do you want? Like, how?
Yeah, maybe just tell me.
I won.
Did you actually?
I won $1 million.
Are you being?
I'm being serious.
Serious?
We're millionaires. I told you I'd figure out a way to get rich somehow.
Number 15. Speaking of love, David needed to win this season to keep his girlfriend for Love and Milk. This is what he told us on the show, and as we all saw, he did not win, which is very unfortunate. So whatever happened to his relationship with her?
Unfortunately, everything I said on the island was sincere and true. Did not win $1 million, and so shortly after I got back and told her as much, she decided to go her own way. And it was a blessing, though, however, because I've met the most incredible woman since then. So I'm actually really happy where I am in life.
Number 16. So many people want 39 days back. I am, of course, one of those people. And with Survivor 50 filming as I make this video, so many people are spreading the rumor that the season will be 39 days again. As Jeff has said on past podcasts that 39 days could be brought back for special occasions. So is it coming back?
And just to remind people, we were forced by necessity to shorten the shoot schedule because of COVID and some restrictions that we had. 39 days gave you lots of time to work out. If you were in trouble at the end of a tribal council in the 39-day version, you might have 3 days before tribal. So you didn't have to panic.
Yeah.
Some people might like one, some like the other. We like both. This is where we're at. I mean, big headline is we're not going back to 39 days anytime soon. We like this game and we feel like there is still a ton to explore.
Number 17, old people don't get cast in Survivor. No one over the age of 60 has been cast in the new era of the show. And the last time someone over 70 played on Survivor was back in 2015, back when we had an old casting director, 10 plus years ago. So when a fan says that at 72 their time has passed in Survivor, Jeff replies with this.
Here's a review that comes from Casted that says, I've watched every episode of every season going back to the beginning. I always wanted to be a contestant, but I never felt I had the time. Now at 72, I'm probably past my time, but This podcast makes me feel more like I'm actually playing. Enjoy it immensely.
I think you should apply.
Number 18. As I've said over and over again, Jeff is a great host and he's a great hype man for Survivor, but truthful is not a word I would use to describe him. I'm sure it's not always on purpose, but he just says so much stuff all the time that I can imagine it's hard to keep everything straight. So imagine my surprise when the On Fire Propaganda podcast actually calls Jeff out for once for his double speak, and this is how he replies.
But before that, I'd actually like to go to something we said last week. Colin played the transition sound. When people start breaking records, do you start to think, maybe it's time we make it harder?
This isn't an absolute rule, but for the most part, when it comes to endurance challenges, we try to keep them consistent from season to season for two reasons. One, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes.
Yeah. Then I heard this in literally the next episode.
We've done this many times, and I will tell you, we make it more difficult every time we do it.
Yes.
Those are two very distinctly different ideas, Jeff.
I had the exact same thought, Jay.
Yes, but as you played the first clip, I said it's not an absolute rule.
That's true.
So that's this case.
I mean, the fake laughter, Jeff brushing it off. It's just so on point for the podcast. It's number 19. Bianca going out because of a journey that forced her to lose her vote because of a dice roll is a game of Yahtzee. I mean, that's what it sounds like. That looks like Yahtzee. No, wait, it's modern Survivor. Journeys need to die or always have the option to not do them. I think Bianca has earned the right to make fun of journeys as a result.
For the rest of my life, if I saw a Yahtzee game, I'd have to chuck it out the window.
Yeah, no casinos, no dice, no die, like nothing. No.
Next time, practice rolling dice.
Right? Like, why didn't I do that? What was I thinking? I was like giving up coffee, getting my entire body laser hair removed, doing all these things. I wasn't rolling dice though.
Number 20, over the years, Survivor and Jeff has made some bad decisions. I mean, it's bound to happen. The show's been on for 48, going on 50 seasons. See, what I was just talking about when it comes to journeys, for example. But he has owned up to when an idea completely craps the bed, like making a whole public ordeal about dropping the word guys and even the hourglass twist.
Well, this is really in the weeds.
Yeah.
But if you're a Survivor fan, there was a twist called change history, which is exactly what it is. You change what happened.
Okay.
My idea, I fully own it. Terrible idea, as evidenced by the players saying, so let me just get this straight. This thing that happened, your twist now is to go back and say it didn't happen after it happened. I was like, yeah, I think it's kind of cool. And they go, no, we don't. So, but that goes back to what I was saying earlier, that
You should have run that by me. That's a terrible
it's a terrible idea. I should have asked Mike Light. I mean, I had him on the phone.
Number 21, apparently Mary was eating a ton of coconuts. We kind of saw this on the show, but she was on the outs, so people just weren't taking her on rewards. So instead, she focused her revenge by eating all of the coconuts on the island, as we see in this secret scene.
Mary has depleted this entire beach of coconuts in a 72-hour time span. Mind you that Mary was eating the best out of anyone on this season, for quite some time.
Yeah, I'm just like exhausted and like this eating is so long.
She missed out on 2 rewards, and now she's gone on a hell-bent journey to deplete this island of coconuts. I think I saw her eat 4 coconuts within probably 3 hours. We all went on a coconut hunt, Camilla, Eva, and I, and brought back some more.
We found like a total of 3.
And Mary cracked one of those.
Number 22, how did Joe and Eva lose? Maybe it seems obvious in retrospect, but the show was so heavily in love with Joe that it made the narrative of the season confusing as a result. This is where exit interviews come in. while they are not canon since at this point when the players are talking about the show, they've already seen the show on TV. But still, these exit interviews can kind of point us in the right direction. So let's start with Camilla.
It all comes back to jury management and knowing the jury. You know, every single time at tribal council, when people would talk, I'd look over to see how the jury would respond. They were not very happy with Joe and Eva. There was also, like, I think some people in that strong alliance were very in on their strong alliance and they didn't care to talk about the game with people outside of that alliance. And so that kind of isolates the people on the outs. It makes them feel like they had no shot at playing. Are those people going to vote for you? I don't think so, and it didn't seem like they did.
Number 23. Camilla was never voting for anyone but Kyle. I mean, let's be real. Kyle won by getting all the original Siva votes. He didn't need anyone else. Those 4 Siva votes, that's all he needed. But still, these original Siva members saw things. And when it comes to Chrissy, she lays it bare why most were unimpressed with Joe and Eva.
But then there comes a time where, who do I want to sit with? And in my eyes, Joe and Eva are playing the same game. And that's what I was trying to tell them. Like, we're honest and integrity. One of you is going to have to flip because who do I give the $1 million to if you're playing the same game? You know, like you got to differentiate. So at some point it's like, fuck, I'll take Joe and Eva to end with me because they're playing the same. I had asked Eva at one point who she was voting for. And she said, whoever Joe's voting for is what she told me. And I was like, wow, just the overpowerness of the Joe and Eva thing, like how they just sit at tribal at the camp and they don't even walk away to talk about stuff. They just talk right there in front of you. You know, you're like, holy, we're sneaking off and like, and I'm watching them just so blatant, you know, and I don't know. It just was annoying.
Number 24. You know what is wild? Survivor never does this, but they actually re-aired the episode where Eva has a breakdown of the challenge and Joe comforts her. Plus, they put Joe and Eva, remember, 3rd and 2nd place, on the national CBS morning show the day of the Survivor 48 finale to promote the finale to get people to tune in. This is unheard of. Survivor never puts anybody on the national CBS morning show to promote the finale. So for them to put up the 3rd and 2nd place players, but not Mitch, Camilla, or Kyle makes you go, dang, they really were in love with Joe and Eva. I mean, where's Kyle? Where is Kyle? Probably in a secret alliance with Camilla. Number 25. All of old Siva voting Kyle was a no-brainer as to why they did it, but Shaheen was unexpected. I mean, Kyle didn't need his vote. It was the 5th one. It was just a cherry on top as Shaheen decided to not vote for Joe. But why?
But this is the real kind of tea on that situation is that day and the days leading up to it, we had a huge argument. Like we just had a fight, like a married couple. Like we had a huge argument. And what you see during that discussion we had was the tail end. I mean, we had already had our argument. We were kind of done. It was like, well, that's why I didn't ask certain questions or he didn't. And because of that bad day, and kudos to them, they saw that crack and then it was easy to insert almost anything because we were just off. And I know that seems so simple, but buddy, I'm being honest. Like that's what happened is I strongly believe that any other day they put an idol in play or Shaheen, it doesn't happen, but we were just off. And, you know, I'm bummed at that.
Number 26. Were there signs outside of the show that could have clued us in on Kyle being the winner? Oh, definitely. CBS did an entire special on the behind the scenes of 48 before the season began, which had them interviewing only 2 players out of 18, Stephanie, the first boot, and Kyle. Plus, I listened through the entire season of Survivor 48's On Fire podcast, as I do every season, and this time, I made sure to keep track of how many times the winner was talked about because by the time I got to 47, I'm like, it does seem like they talk about the winner a lot before we know it's the winner, if that makes sense. So this time I actually kept track. And yes, Jeff and the producer of the podcast brought up Kyle 3 times as much as the next player. That's right. The next player was Joe. Obviously, they talked about Joe a lot, but Kyle was brought up 3 times as much. Holy crap. Jeff knows how the show ends, so he obviously can pick who he wants to talk about in advance. Keep this in mind when it comes to Survivor 49. Let's put it that way. Number 27, with Survivor 50 coming soon, I am personally hoping for a return to the challenges where players face off in head-to-head duels like the sumo challenges we have seen over the years, or really anything physical where it's just like 1v1. So what does Jeff think about these exciting, fun challenges?
If you had a different group of people in charge of Survivor, We might have a lot of these challenges. Survivor could have gone the route of the challenge show and make it more physical and all of that. We just took a different approach. But I would say in terms of why we don't have those, there wasn't a defining moment when we decided to back off of these types of challenges. We don't want the challenges to be so physical that it's likely somebody will get hurt. Of course, injuries do sometimes happen, but for the most part, anybody can run these challenges. You may fall, you may get scraped up, but you're not going to break a bone. But again, like everything on Survivor, it's about balance and point of view, and we're doing our best to manage it.
Number 28. Will Survivor ever do a season in the cold? I mean, I think we all know the answer to this one, but why? Why won't they ever do a season in the cold?
Who wants to see cold?
I do.
Wait, people are just going to walk around and cameras are going to start breaking? And...
Yeah, I guess so, right? It wouldn't be as like...
Yeah, think of your crew right here shooting this show. Are we going to go to Antarctica together and just shoot Survivor?
Yes, of course we're going to go to Antarctica and shoot together. Have you ever thought about it?
We have, actually, and we really did kind of think through. It's just, there's something about watching people work and build a shelter and catch fish.
Yeah,
there's
and
not
on an
much
island.
to do in the
Yeah,
snow.
if it's too cold and extreme. Too, yeah, you guys are right. You know what you're doing.
Number 29, the final 4 fire-making twists could be gone for Survivor 50, thanks to us being able to vote on it. All we can do now is like cross our fingers and hope, just pray it doesn't happen. But why was this twist ever introduced in the first place?
Idols were only good to final 5. And when you got to 4, you were vulnerable and there was nothing you could do to save yourself. And it always bugged me that somebody would play a great game and there was absolutely nothing they could do at 4, and the 3 people would vote them out. So we put it into the game, and Chrissy was the first person to have to encounter it, and she was convinced we put it in there. She said, you just put this in there because you don't want me to win. And if Chrissy ever comes back to play again, I hope there's a Final 4 fire making challenge, and I hope she makes it far enough to have to take it on again.
Jeff has said this many, many times before, and again, I have to point out that he is still wording it like playing a good social game to survive the Final 4 is not an option. Like, it's just a random vote off that occurs. It's like, oh no, what if someone's playing a good game and they just randomly get voted off Final 4? Like, that's not how it works, Jeff. They have a way to get through the Final 4. They can win immunity or play a good social game, or both. They don't have to have fire making. He is basically, without saying this directly, that the concept of Survivor is flawed, and that's why he introduced the twist to fix it. Number 30, Say was a chaotic gem of a villain, and in this secret scene, we see her being all about going nuts on watching Mary's every single move.
Is that her laying down?
No, I don't know where she is.
What do y'all mean I don't know where she is?
She was here with Cedric.
What?
Now she's gone. Yeah.
So annoying. I will keep an eye on her because y'all are not keeping a. You did not keep a good eye.
I'm not chasing this little woman.
You don't have to chase her, but you weren't even babysitting well.
Well, I'm not gonna babysit her.
You need to. We are in a game.
I'm gonna watch, but I'm not gonna.
You weren't
if
watching.
She gets up and leaves, I'm not following her.
What y'all talking about?
What y'all
Your
talking
babysitting stuff.
about? We're talking about a tree. So I was next to the big
He's
tree.
got to be on me at all moments.
I will be.
Number 31, I can imagine that watching the sunrise or sunset in Fiji is beautiful, serene, peaceful, and something someone may want to just enjoy in silence. Well, for Shaheen,
I had the whole Nicki Minaj album. We had the whole hospital turned. But she actually did it pretty quick. Like, even during labor, she was like, don't touch me. Nobody touch me. You want to hold the hand, and it's like, nah. She's like, just get him out. But she actually did. Okay, I see now between 6, 7, 8, it's like, all right, you just needed some food in your stomach. But the face card was dead. Yeah. The head, oh God. She literally, it started, he was born
what song?
I'm the Best by Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
It's literally at 4:16. And she started pushing at, let's just say 4:12, 4:10. At 4:16, the song wasn't even finished yet. It was like the last ending.
She's screaming her story. And I'm trying to just meditate through it and keep your calm. This is your moment. Just enjoy it.
And then let's say 10 o'clock, her homegirl came take a bath, do this.
It's driving me nuts.
Fried snapper and pepper.
Wait,
and you have,
I want this.
and
You can hear Star from here.
You have your sauce.
number 32, Cedric voted for everyone at some point in time. I mean, that's how it felt like just watching him play. I did love that he did his own thing, even if it didn't work out for him. But why, oh why, did he vote out the pizza man Justin when he could have kept him?
We had already decided before we got there that Justin and I had already decided I'm not writing his name down. Ultimately, when we get to that point in which now I'm having to make that decision, What you don't see is a moment that I said to Jeff, even during taping, that this moment is transcending the game. But I saw someone that was potentially having a mental break. And I saw someone that had there been any trauma in her life that could this moment further compound it. And I know that at some point we all are going to potentially leave this game. But I thought that if she leaves the game like this may be something she may not recover from.
Number 33, many people have infamously tried smuggling things in the show. I mean, one example is Richard Hatch smuggled matches in his bunghole. Check out my All-Star Secrets video for that one. Kel might have snuck beef jerky in season 2, and so many other players have tried to sneak things on the island in hopes that the production won't catch it. Not anymore though, as the show has cracked down on this hard.
We do some pretty thorough searches.
Can vouch.
I feel pretty confident. Rachel, what was it like for you?
Yeah, the day the game starts, we are handed the clothes we are to wear while playing. We change into them, and then we get patted down and checked. We then never leave the sight of producers until we're loaded onto the boats for the marooning. So there isn't really a packing list for Survivor because we don't get to bring anything into the game that isn't given to us directly by Survivor.
Number 34, this last secret is about to legit blindside you if you didn't listen to the On Fire podcast. In fact, you might still be blindsided even if you did, because it's one of those things just like, no, did it? What? Oh, what?
Very few people know this, but I am a weekend magician. In fact, that's my name, David Scully, the weekend magician. It's just my sort of side hustle, my alter ego. And I will say, I don't have any current tour dates, but if you do ever see David Scully, the weekend magician, listed on a marquee somewhere, that's me. And I invite you to come in and reach into my pocket.
So which secret surprised you the most? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you all next time.